So far everything looks good. Just have to keep my fingers crossed that it's not going to start growing back anymore. Yeah, so I'm just going to have to see how this progresses in the next day or two. And I think I can officially say that the Blackout So a couple days ago I posted this video where I showed you guys the extreme green dust algae outbreak in my studio. And first of all, I want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys for all the support. I got so many nice comments on that video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you go watch that one first because it just explains the whole situation. But the short version is I had a massive green dust algae outbreak in my entire studio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 or 8 tanks were all infected and it was really bad. So I decided that the best way to treat it was to do a blackout. So I covered all of my tanks with trash bags, with blankets to make sure it's completely dark. And today we're going to find out if it worked. Yeah, so everything is still covered. So we have one in the corner over here, 3 over here, 1 over here, and 1 on top of the shelf, and then 1 more downstairs. So my initial plan was to do this blackout for 5 days. But thinking about it now, I think it's a bit too long. I think my plants will just suffer a bit too much if it's completely dark for that long. So I started blackout on Tuesday and today is Friday. You might be thinking, why not do it on Saturday? But on Saturday, I'm basically away from home the entire day, so that's not going to work. So yeah, today's Friday, so that means it's been a blackout for 3 days. So hopefully that's long enough. In a minute, I'm going to start taking all the covers off. I mean, we won't know immediately if it worked or not because we have to see if it's going to grow back. So I'm going to check again tomorrow or day after tomorrow to see if we have any new green dust algae appearing on the on the glass and everything. So I'm going to take the covers off, but yeah, it's don't know. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with this one. Actually, I got a lot of comments on the previous video asking if I'm going to feed the fish during this blackout. And well, basically the short answer is no. During these past few days, I haven't opened the tank once just to feed the fish because then, you know, you have to open it and then some light gets in again, and it's just too much of a risk, you know. Also, I mean, fish are fine if you don't feed them for a couple of days. They might be a little bit freaked out because, you know, living in the darkness for 3 days and now all of a sudden it's super bright again. Okay, first one is done. I'm not going to put the light on yet. Just want to get the inhabitants sort of adjusted to the ambient light first. Otherwise, it's just too much of a shock, you know? So let's just move on to the rest. Also, another question I saw pop up a few times in the previous video was if the inhabitants and the fish are not going to suffocate during this blackout. Again, short answer is no. I mean, yes, I've covered everything with trash bags and blankets, but it's not 100% airtight. You know, there's always going to be some oxygen going through. And also we have the filters up and running. They provide oxygen. There's still water surface movement. So fish are all fine. Nothing to worry about. I can see all the shrimp and the cories and the amano shrimp, and everybody is doing fine. You can see that the carpeting plants are trying to grow upright, you know, just reaching for any sort of light. So that'll probably take a few days to recover. Yeah, there's little shrimpy. Doing good. Okay, moving on to the big shallow. Question is, what the hell am I going to do with all these trash bags? Here's a good example of what you can expect during a blackout. Look at the glossostigma. I was already struggling to make it grow horizontally, and this is gonna, yeah, just take some time to recover. Yeah, all the cichlids are doing good as well. Same situation on the 90L, all the carpeting plants, all growing vertically. We'll have to see how it goes in the next few days, but I'll probably just do a big trimming session. Okay, everything is uncovered. There's the damage, whole bunch of trash bags and blankets. I think it's time to turn on some lights. Yeah, so we can't already know if it worked or not because we just have to wait maybe a day or two to see if it's going to grow back. But so far everything looks good. Inhabitants look healthy. The plants look good as well. I don't see any, you know, bush that melted or anything. If I look at the glass, I can see like a spot of the green dust algae here that I forgot to clean or just missed. Yeah, just because it's visible doesn't mean that it's still active. This one is looking pretty good as well. If I look closely at some of the plants, I can see a little bit of melt. So for example, on some of the dwarf hairgrass, there's some crypts in the back that look like they're melting a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's not really a big deal. Overall, this looks good. There's still some green algae on this rock over here, but that's not green dust algae. That's just like some type of filamentous algae. And this is a completely new setup. So yeah, I'm not really worried about that. So I'm putting the lights back off again because it's still quite early in the morning. And I just want to go back to my normal schedule from like 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. But let's have a look at the big shallow. Yeah, same situation. You know, coupling plants are all upright. But inhabitants are looking healthy and happy. And yeah, no algae visible so far. A few spots here and there where I kind of, missed it. For example, this tiny spot over here. So just have to keep my fingers crossed that it's not going to start growing back anymore. I mean, it's a bit hard to show you guys on camera, but the front glass panel is completely clean. So that's exactly what we wanted. But the water does have a little bit of a slight mistiness to it. So I'm wondering if I should do a water change or not. Okay, I may have some bad news, because if I look at this tank on the front glass panel, yeah, can I show you guys? I don't think so. Maybe you can see it a little bit. There's something on the front glass panel. There's definitely a layer. But now we just have to see if it's going to start growing. I mean, like I said earlier, you can still see it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's active or that it's going to, grow again, because I had it on the UNS60U as well. It was definitely visible, but it wasn't growing anymore. It was just dead and just stagnant, sort of. Yeah, so I'm just going to have to see how this progresses in the next day or two. Okay, classic planter tank is looking, yeah, good, but I can also see a slight dusting on the front glass panel. So I don't know, guys. I'm not too positive yet. Just remember we had one more tank. This one's tucked away in the corner. Completely forgot about it. So this one had this piece of manzanita driftwood sticking out like that. I just moved it to make the blackout easier. This also, of course, had some algae on it, but I mean, it's completely dry. So I think we're okay to put it back in. This might sound weird, but occasionally I'm still getting a whiff of the swamp and the wet dog smell from the algae. So maybe that's also not a good sign. Maybe we didn't wait long enough, guys. I don't know. Okay, a couple hours have passed. Lights are all on again. CO2 is on again. Everybody got some food as well. And I mean, so far things are looking quite alright. Crystal and shrimp are feasting on a algae wafer. So the only tank at the moment that is already showing a visible coat on the glass is this one over here, the UNS90L. So yeah, everything else, we're just gonna have to see how it progresses in the next 2 days. So tomorrow I'm not home, so I'll probably come back with an update on Sunday or Monday. Alright guys, today is Sunday and lights just turned on, and I think I can officially say that the blackout was not a success. So starting with the UNS90L, I think you can clearly see that quite a green layer on the front glass panel. It's a bit difficult to see it, if you look at the tank from the front, but it's definitely there. On this one it's quite visible as well, especially if you look at this side. Same thing on the left side. On the big shallow it's a bit harder to see. It also doesn't look as vibrant green as compared to the other two tanks. So I don't know, something is a bit different here. This one is also very difficult to see. It's kind of similar to the big shallow, but there's definitely something as well. And then this small nano tank, if you look at the front glass panel, also nice and green again. But on a more positive note, the only tank that doesn't have green dust algae in it anymore is this one, the cube that I have downstairs. If I look at the glass over here, I really can't notice anything. There's a little bit of filamentous algae on some of the plants, but that's it. I don't have a before image of this one, but yeah, it was completely covered as well. So somehow on this tank, it did work. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit disappointed with the results. Maybe I should have waited the full 5 days and only taken the covers off today, but I was just too afraid that 5 days of complete darkness would really take a toll on all of my plants, you know? And yeah, I don't know, I'd rather still have this algae issue than having to completely replant all of my tanks. That would be just a bigger loss, you know? So I think I'm just gonna take a different approach. I mean, the blackout didn't work. I don't wanna do a blackout right now again because, I mean, the plants still need to recover. So I just wanna go back to the normal light schedule and the normal CO2 schedule for a little while before I attempt another blackout. So we're gonna try a different method. So yesterday I was working in a store and they had these UV sterilizers. So I think this is going to be the next plan of action. So here we have it. So it's basically just a black tube with a UV light inside. So this goes on the external canister filter. So basically all the water that's filtered that goes through here, every sort of algae spore that is in that water should get killed by this UV light. So I don't know, let's give it a try. So the good thing is that every tank that is affected has an external canister filter, so I can use this UV light. The downside is that I only have one, so I can only treat one tank at a time. I mean, this kit was already €100, so I didn't want to just buy a couple of them, you know. So I'm thinking of starting on the UNS 90L because this one kind of seemed the worst. So yeah, let's just install the UV filter on this setup, give it a few days, and hopefully we'll see an improvement. Yeah, so on this setup, I have an external canister filter, and then on the outflow, I also have an external heater. So, and then it goes to the outflow. So I'm basically going to make a cut on this tube over here, place the UV filter probably against the sideboard panel, and then yeah, that's it. Okay, UV filter in place and turned on. I decided not to screw it to the cabinet because it's only going to be here temporarily, so it's kind of just like loosely in here, but it's working. So I mean, it's turned on. I'm not sure if it's working yet. So with the way that I've set it up now is actually not ideal because if we look at the box, it's recommended for tanks to a maximum size of 250 liters, and the recommended flow rate is 100 to 300 liters per hour. And the filter that I have here, I think does 900 liters per hour. So the flow is a bit too strong, if you will. And of course, because of that, the algae infested water is not in contact with the UV light for a very long time. So that's why it's not super efficient, but I don't know any other solution for now. So hopefully this will do the trick. Okay, so I'm now going to clean the glass with an algae scraper. Just get all of those algae spores into the water column, and then hopefully everything will get picked up by the filter and pass through the UV light. And hopefully we can just, you know, try to kill most of it. Now, I'm probably going to have to do this quite a few times. Probably also not ideal that, you know, the photo period just started. I think ideally I should do this, you know, when the lights are not on, but it's hard to see when the lights are not on. So I might be just, do it again tonight or something. But hopefully we'll just see some progress. You know, if we see progress, then I know that this method works, and then it just requires some dedication and some manual labor. Okay, today is Tuesday, and things are looking a little bit better actually. We're making some progress now. Okay, so it's now been about 48 hours since I've installed the UV filter on this tank, and things are definitely improving. So Sunday night and Monday night, just before the lights went off, I completely cleaned the glass, removed all the visible algae, and I think that has definitely made an improvement. So, and I mean, it's now Tuesday late afternoon. Yeah, it's really difficult to show you guys, but there's just a tiny amount of green spot algae or green dust algae on the glass. So if I think if I just keep doing this method for a few more days, you know, like just before the lights go off, remove all the visible algae, wipe everything clean, so everything gets picked up by the filter. If I do that for a few more days, I think we can totally get rid of it. And on an even better note, I think the blackout did work on the big shallow, because it's now Tuesday. Yesterday I did a trimming session on the glossostigma, and I've also cleaned the glass, and it basically didn't came back, which is really good. I mentioned earlier that it wasn't looking as vibrant green, and I guess that meant because it's just not alive anymore, not active anymore, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's been a full 24 hours since I did a maintenance session on this tank, and I can't see anything on the glass anymore, so really happy about that. Now this one is still very much covered in green dust algae, as you can see. So yeah, Friday I took the covers off, and actually since then I haven't done anything. So this is how it looks after Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days basically. Then the tank next to it, I actually think that this one is fixed as well. I mean, it doesn't look super clean yet. There's still something on the glass, but it's basically like we had in the big shallow before. Like, it's not vibrant green anymore. It seems like it's just dead. But the tank just needs a good maintenance session. But I haven't had time to do that yet. And then this one is still affected by green dust algae as well. So this one, I guess this will be the third tank to receive the UV filter. Yeah, still has a green dust algae layer. Still smells bad as well. Then yesterday I also did a maintenance and a trimming session on the old school planted tank. And I think this one is now officially algae free as well. If you look at the front glass, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything. So I guess the blackout method did work better than I initially expected. So we've now managed to save 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks, I guess. So the cube downstairs is now algae free. This one is now algae free. The Moss Valley is now algae free. And the old school planted tank is now algae free. And then the 90L will get fixed with the UV light. This one will get fixed with the UV light. And the small tank in the corner with the crystal rats will get fixed with the UV light. And then hopefully we'll be done with this algae. That would be nice. I also have to take my words back, I guess, because in the previous video about this algae situation, I said that a UV filter is probably not the best solution. But yeah, I think it's actually working better than I expected. It's quite an investment though. It's definitely not cheap, but so far it seems to be working well. Yeah, I guess this is it for now. Today's Tuesday. I want to get this video out tomorrow, so I'm going to wrap it up for now. Guys, again, thanks for all the support. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.